They called her names: useless girl, disgrace to her mother, who gets pregnant without knowing the father. But what they didn't know was that the man they mocked her over was one of the richest men in Africa. This is not just a story about shame, it's a story of strength, betrayal, destiny, and rising from the dust to wear a crown. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll believe in miracles. This is the story of Ulumma, the girl who was mocked but later became a queen. In the quiet village of Umueze, there lived a humble girl named Ulumma. She was gentle, respectful, and always wore a bright smile. Even when life gave her nothing to smile about. Her father died when she was just 10, and her mother, Mama Ifoma, struggled to send her to school by selling roasted plantain by the roadside. Ulumma was very smart. She passed her exams and got admitted into the university in the city. Life in the city was a different world, loud, fast, and full of temptations. It was there she met Obiajulu, a quiet, well-dressed man who said he owned a small tech company. He helped her with school fees sometimes and treated her kindly. They fell in love, or at least she thought they did. One raining evening on the city lights, Ulumma discovered she was pregnant. At first, she was scared but happy. She wanted to tell Obiajulu, but his number was no longer going through. His apartment was suddenly empty. Ulumma returned to Umueze with shame in her eyes and her growing belly. The villagers gathered like bees whenever she passed. "See who, a whole university girl," she said. Even reach final year before she carry belle. Who give am belle? A goat? Because na only goats go see this one and agree. Even her own mother couldn't hide her tears. "Ulumma, why didn't you wait? I gave you everything I had. Why, my daughter?" The village women refused to let their daughters talk to her. Children pointed at her belly. Church members moved to another bench. Even the reverend's wife called her a bad example for young girls. Ulumma stayed indoors most days, helping Mami Ifoma roast plantain and crying silently at night. But she never mentioned the man's name, not because she was protecting him, but because even she didn't know who he truly was. She only knew him as Obiajulu, calm, kind, and mysterious. 9 months passed. On a stormy night, Ulumma screamed in pain. Mami Ifoma rushed her to the village midwife. After hours of sweat and prayers, Ulumma gave birth to a healthy baby boy. His name was Uche. God is with me. Everyone expected her to suffer, but strangely things began to change. Mami Ifoma's business improved. A kind stranger donated a roasting stand. Ulumma started a small hair-making business at home, and people, though reluctantly, started coming to her. One day, a shiny SUV drove into Umueze. The door car opened, and out came a tall man in a crisp white agbada. He looked like someone from a movie. People whispered, "Who is that? He's too fine, oh. Look at his car." He walked straight to Mami Ifoma's house and knocked. Ulumma opened the door and almost fainted. It was Obiajulu, but this time he was wearing normal clothes. Behind him were cameramen, guards, and reporters. He knelt down before her and said, "Ulumma, I have been looking for you. My name is Obiajulu Ezenwanyi. I am the CEO of Zenith Tech Group, one of Africa's biggest tech empires. I came back for my son and for you." Obiajulu had disappeared because his father had suddenly died, and he was forced to return to America for the company's takeover. He tried to reach her, but lost all contact and had no way of finding her real name. "I never stopped thinking about you," he said. "When I finally traced your name through my foundation, I found you were in Umueze." The villagers who once mocked Ulumma now hid their faces in shame. "I never wanted you to suffer," he continued, "but maybe it was meant to be. For you to rise like this, for our son to be born strong, for your story to change others." With tears, Ulumma forgave him. But she didn't rush into his arms. "I want to stand first," she said, "not because I'm a billionaire's wife, but because I am Ulumma and I am strong." Months passed. Obiajulu bought Mami Foma a new house. He sent Ulumma and Uche abroad. She studied business, fashion, and public speaking. By the time she returned, Ulumma had built her own brand, Olu's Empire, a fashion line with branches in Lagos, Abuja, and Accra. She spoke at women's conferences. She opened shelters for teenage girls and single mothers. And guess what? Many of the same women who mocked her now wore her clothes and begged her to mentor their daughters. The most beautiful moment came at Umueze Civic Hall when Ulumma stood on stage, her husband and son behind her, and said, "They said I was a disgrace. They called me names, but I was not a mistake. I was becoming a message. Never let people's voices become louder than God's plan for your life. Even when you are mocked, rise." Ulumma and Obiajulu built a mansion in Umueze. They returned every Christmas with Uche. The same church that refused her now invited her to preach. The same streets that whispered now celebrated. And everyone who once called her a failure now called her Adugo, the daughter of honor. Don't let your past define you. What looks like shame today might become your crown tomorrow. Never stop believing in yourself, because the world only sees success after the pain has passed. Never judge a person by their situations. The people of Umueze mocked Ulumma without knowing the truth. They saw only her pregnancy, not her pain, her strength, or her journey. We must learn to show compassion, not condemnation, because today's shame can become tomorrow's story. Your mistake does not define you. Ulumma was called a disgrace, but she refused to let a moment in her life destroy her future. No matter the mistake, you still have the power to rise again. You are more than your past. Ulumma never shouted, never fought back. She didn't try to prove herself with words. She allowed her success to speak for her. Sometimes, the best response to mockery is quiet focus and growth. The right people will always find you. Obiajulu may have disappeared, but destiny brought him back. If someone or something truly meant for you, it will find its way back to you, even after storms and silence. Be patient, my people. What's yours will always locate you. Pain can be the pathway to purpose. Ulumma used her pain to build future, not just for herself, but for others. She became a voice to single mothers and broken girls. Your deepest pain might become the source of your greatest impact tomorrow. Life will sometimes throw death at your name, especially when people think they know your story. But only God sees the full picture. Ulumma was mocked, laughed at, and called names. Yet she rose, not just because of a man, but because she chose not to give up on herself. Sometimes your pain is preparing you for a platform. Sometimes your tears is watering the seed of your greatness. And just like Ulumma, you too can rise. even if no one believes in you. So the next time someone writes you off, smile and say to yourself, they haven't seen the end of my story. Because you, yes you, are not a mistake. You are a miracle. You are becoming visible. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe for more inspiring African folktales that touch the soul. See you in the next one. Bye.